creating objects from a class. Previously you saw me create this class. And we also created an object from that. So this is like a blueprint. And once you define that blueprint, that class, you can create as many objects as you like from that class. For example, in this case, I can create as many points as I want. Just like you have in a program, you have many integers. In your program, you are creating those integers using this class, this type. This is what we're also doing in here. Well, in the case of integers, it could be this syntax, but that's just a syntax that Python is offering you because integers are very popular. But what's actually happening is this thing in here. Now, when you check the type of one of those objects that you are creating, you'll see this __ main __ dot point. So we're talking about the point type here, just like we have the int type. However, we have this main here. What this main means is it's actually the name of the current script. So the script we're coding, that this code is contained. Or more exactly, the script where point is. Now, if point was in another script, for example, in my current directory, I have this geometry.py file, and inside that geometry.py, I've defined a pPoint class. Now, if I import the geometry, the pPoint class or type, the pPoint type from geometry, and then I create an object instance from that pPoint class, giving those two argument values, and then I check the type of point5, you'll see that you get geometry.pPoint. So that's the type and that's the file where this pPoint is located. You'd see the same behavior if you look at a library. This is one of the standard Python libraries. It's actually located somewhere in your files, in your Python installation directory. So in ip-address.py. Now in that ip-address.py file, there is a class defined called IPv4 address. Now I'm creating an object for that class. So an IPv4 address object or an IP object. Let's keep it simple. This is the value I decided to input, and then if you check the type, you'll see that you get this. That's the type, and that's the file where this type has been defined. And of course, in the case of integers, you don't see any file before that because int is not defined in a file, it's defined in CPython, so in the software that you are using to run Python. So it's written inside there. It's a built-in type. And lastly, maybe you tried it. Maybe you tried to print a point object that we created. And you notice that this weird looking representation of the object. If you were to print the integer object, you'd see this nice representation of the integer, which is the value 2. But with point, we don't get what we were expecting, maybe. What I would want the point to display when I print it would be maybe the coordinates of that point. So in the case of point 1, which was defined in here, I'd like to see 10 and 20 maybe. But Python doesn't know that this is a point object. It doesn't know how to display that object. Well, it knows you have given the name point, but for Python it doesn't make sense. Python doesn't know this is a geometry feature, so you have to tell Python what to display when the object is being printed out, like in here. So for that you need to give some special instructions inside the class definition. So more specifically, you have to create a new method there, a special method, where you say that when point is printed out, Python is going to display this information. However, we are not there yet, but you'll learn that later on. I just wanted to point out that don't worry if you're getting this view for now.